Alright, looks like we are now live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Storytime Network. Uh, I'm Jack, and this is Lore, and today we are going to be discussing Yuri Manga.
Yes. We have done this once last year and it was fun, so we just decided, hey, let's do it again.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm trying to change the title for the
Yeah.
stream because I am.
No, it's fine. I can feel some dead air. No, I think like last time, this is going to be a sampler, not necessarily a like in-depth analysis of anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's also fair to say, if someone were to listen to this for recommendations, the one top recommendation is still Bloom Into You. I think we have some good stuff today, but I think that one still
It's really hard to grow with Bloom Into You.
yeah
Like,
yeah
it
that
is.
one still reigns supreme.
Yeah, no, it is. But let's see, where is the thing I need to edit? God damn. No, that's not it. I'm sorry, I'm not used to managing Twitch at all.
It's fine. It's fine.
Uh, that's not ideal.
I will quickly go through my things and see if I actually remember all of them. I mean, for some of these, it's been some time since I read them, just because, well, you know. Take some time to read through
Yep.
a lot of manga. I think most things we have today are actually finished, with two exceptions.
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Which is always nice. Like, it's just, I find it easier to talk about stuff when I know if and where it's going.
Yeah, no, that always helps. It helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like I'm just straight up unable to edit the stream info, so that's fun.
Oh, well. That's kind of unfortunate, but
Yep, it is what it is.
what can you do?
I can't do jack shit, so. But I can see if Mill can. Yeah. In the meantime, since we can't do anything about that, we might as well get started in talking about all the Yuri manga that we sampled.
Yes. Also, I will say, just to put it on the record, like, of course, we're doing this because of Pride Month, but I'm not reading Yuri manga for representation. I'm reading Yuri manga because I'm a huge fanboy, and that's basically it.
Oh no, same. Uh, I wholeheartedly agree with, like,
Yeah.
hey, this is, it's good. A lot of this is good representation, but also just like
Yeah,
this is just yeah.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah. So yeah, getting started though, we have After Hours. We're going alphabetical order here.
Yeah, sure. Yes. So After Hours, I really liked most of After Hours.
Yeah, no, I am of I agree with you there. Like, I have issues with the third act.
Yeah, exactly. It should.
It feels contrived.
Especially because, like, after the second act would have been a great point to end it.
Yeah, and then the whole third act is just like,
It's like,
it kind
what?
of comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, I literally sat here reading and was like, why is this here? Like, who did they have a contract for 17 chapters and just needed to fill
It don't
something?
make
I don't know.
it don't make no sense.
No, seriously, it's really, really, and not only like the third act itself. I mean, we should just talk spoilers because it's hard to talk about
I mean,
things
I
when
have
you
a
don't say
spoiler
what
warning
actually
up,
happens.
so
Yeah, so um, not only the whole thing with her returning home is kind of out of nowhere.
it's
Also,
not
just
mentioned at all
yeah,
beforehand.
and also just the way it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, they are literally on the phone, and then she just vanishes, and that was so weird. Like,
I just don't like the third act.
yeah, no, I'm absolutely with you. Like, if I were to reread that one, I would just stop after the concert because like
Yeah,
that was a
no.
good point to end.
Yeah, why would you end after there? It's just
Yeah. That's another thing. Like I finished that part of like the second act and saw there's X chapters left. I was like, why? Oh, this can't go well.
it really can't. Yeah, no. It's just like and
And that's really
the final
unfortunate
volume is
because like
just like the longest volume too.
yeah, and that's honestly kind of unfortunate because it really hurts what is otherwise a pretty good thing. Like the characters are charming, the
I
setting is reasonably unique.
Something I do think we need to mention real quick is that this one, much more so than the previous manga sampler, has a lot more variety in terms of who the protagonists are, and I think we actually
Yes,
have
absolutely.
much more adult focused stories in this one.
Yes, definitely.
Because
And
looking at
I
the count, I'm thinking one, two, three, four, five. Only half of the manga we're talking about today, less than half, feature
yeah,
people, protagonists who are not adults.
yeah. And
Whereas,
that alone is refreshing because like still it feels like I don't think that's actually still the case, but it still feels like a lot of romance anime, even if it's not Yuri, is still very focused on the whole high school thing. So
oh
it's
yeah, no,
always interesting, especially as a guy in his mid 30s. It's always just more interesting to read
it
about
is
characters who are older.
so refreshing to have
Yeah.
adult protagonists in a
And
romance.
again, not just because I'm myself no longer in school. It's just
Hmm.
interesting to have different perspectives.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's especially in romance there's just a very different tone to
Hmm.
like high school stuff where you usually have like this whole first love thing going on,
Hmm.
uh, and adult characters who are a little more well experienced of course but
Yeah.
also maybe a bit more jaded about things.
Yep.
No, so I think no, and that's the thing, like I think that in After Hours the two main characters but also the supporting cast is really good.
Yep.
It's just
They all
that
have
really
really good chemistry
unfortunate third
too.
act.
Yeah, no, just the third act really bogs it down. And like there are several other 3 volume manga on here that have
Yeah,
much better third acts.
yes, definitely. Quite obviously, actually. Though I will say we do have a few things with pacing issues this time. This one does not really have pacing issues unless you count having a completely pointless third act as pacing.
That's a whole separate issue, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. No, I thought the pacing on this was really good. Again, until the third act, which just eh.
Yeah.
But the way things developed, even like the pacing in universe and for the reader, were both really good.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, give this one a go, but maybe just stop after 2/3.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, moving on to the next one, which is actually I think it's the only carryover from last time. Next one is
Pretty much, yeah.
Donuts Under a Crescent Moon, which the last volume of this came out several months ago, but
Yeah,
was way too late for us to put in the last sampler. So
exactly. Still really good.
it's very good. I do think this one is different than a lot of the other ones because I believe both of the leading ladies in this one are asexual
Yes,
lesbians, which is
they appear to be. Yes.
yeah, which is different, you know.
No, this it's definitely different. I honestly think if this one had come out like 2 years ago instead of now, it probably would have gotten an anime adaptation. Like
Maybe
if it had fallen into that time when like MMO Junkie Wodokoi like when it just had more office romance stuff.
they generally do
Uh
not adapt anything shorter than like five
yeah,
volumes.
that's true. Which is also unfortunate
It is
because
very unfortunate.
They should
Like,
adapt things they can actually finish.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know. I think Donuts is really really good. Like the
hmm
characters are fun. The story develops in a nice and interesting way. It's
All the characters
yeah.
have
I
really good chemistry with each other, and
yeah
I do appreciate that we do focus on like the relationships the two leads have both with each other and with other characters.
yeah definitely. I will say. I mean that might be the long wait between volumes, but I thought towards the end the pacing kind of took a hit.
Little bit, a little
Not
bit.
like
It
not
wasn't
not
that
not in
bad
a
though.
way that no, it wasn't that bad. It's just kind of well, as I said, you do kind of notice if you notice that stuff at all.
hmm Yeah, I noticed that stuff from time to time. The
Yeah.
pacing was not an issue. Don't think though. I do appreciate once again the character interactions between the two leads and their respective circles. I do also especially like just the relationship between Asahi and her younger sister.
Yeah, that's a really interesting relationship. I will say that's really mostly hinted at, but the
hmm
thing with the teacher and the younger sister is kind of weird, but the manga doesn't really dwell on it, so
Uh,
I won't either.
I thought the relationship being teased was Asahi's best friend who had an unrequited crush on her, and Asahi's
Yeah,
younger
yeah,
sister.
she was also a teacher, like, and
Ah,
she
right.
helped the younger sister get. I reread the whole thing a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I think like it's hinted that the sister has a crush on the teacher,
I mean, there's nothing
and if
inherently wrong with
that's
the
fine,
crush.
like
Yeah.
that's fine. It's just if you want to read into that, then it's kind of weird because both the age gap and the weird replacement thing, but. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, as I said, the manga doesn't really dwell on it, so I won't either. Just something to be aware of if it's something someone were to react to relatively strongly. No, I think overall, Donuts Under Crescent Moon is really, really good. It's really good at just capturing this this workplace rom-com feel.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's very good.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's a very satisfying conclusion to the story, and overall,
yeah, I think the ending
it
is really good
mhm,
as opposed to the last one.
yeah, it puts it really high up there for in my opinion.
No, absolutely.
All right,
Uh,
but we can
yeah.
move on now to the next one, which I know you have a lot more to say about. uh,
Well,
failed princesses.
I don't know if I have a lot to say about it. It's just,
It's a lot more
I,
contentious in your mind, I know.
yeah, yeah. I think okay. No, I don't want to sound like I dislike this one. Like overall, I enjoyed reading it,
Yeah,
but I do think it basically constantly dances around actually being really good
I think
and never quite gets there.
I think it's overall pretty good, but it does have the issue of kind of like dragging itself out a little bit too much.
Yeah, it definitely has pacing issues.
Like
Uh,
I like the friend group that forms around the two leads, but at the same time, like we did, it felt like the that whole love triangle drama was just unnecessary.
Yeah, that was unnecessary, and not only that, I think also they kind of started with this relatively boilerplate setup of popular girl and not pretty popular whatever girl,
hmm
but they also basically dropped that like instantly, but kept bringing it up in a really weird and disjointed way, and
hmm
I think just yeah, as I said, it dances around being really, really good and just never quite gets there, and that's somewhat frustrating. It kind of yeah, the characters' motivations are also kind of weird. Like I don't know, I really thought it kept getting better and better, and the epilogue was by far the best part.
Yeah, the epilogue was very good.
Yeah, but but that's also kind of the thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
the epilogue was really good, but was only somewhat earned, and that's kind of yeah. Again, it's not that I disliked it. It's just that I kind of kept like while I was reading it, I kept thinking, why? What is it? Something doesn't feel right, and
Just that
often
sense
it
of it
was
being just a
either
tad off.
yeah, and often it was either the pacing or the character motivations
Mm-hmm.
in either situation, and yeah,
I mean, there is also the classic issue of the characters themselves not quite being on the same wavelength.
yeah, but even that, like it did that in such a weird way,
Mm-hmm.
because like often in romance, not even just in Yuri, not even just in manga, not even just in Japanese media. Often in romance, the two characters who end up together because that's the story, not because they actually have anything in common or anything.
Yeah, no, that's
And
always annoying.
it's not quite that. Like they do kind of develop the same interests and stuff, but it's just yeah, as I said, it always feels kind of off. It's never quite hits that sweet spot
Which is
until the epilogue.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because I like
Yeah,
the trope of the popular person goes out of their way to befriend the unpopular person and help them to kind of gain that confidence that they seem to need so much. And
no, absolutely.
it's just like uh, this is this is on the cusp of being very good, and
Yeah,
there are hints of it being very good, like with the interactions between the other two members of the eventual friend group are
yeah,
very
no,
nice.
definitely. Yeah, I think it kind of in a way reminded me a bit of Adachi and Shimamura, which
Mm.
also has this weird off pacing.
Adachi Shimamura has the issue of
I
being
mean, that
ultra
has a
slow burn, just like
lot of issues. Like that's the
ultra
slowest
slow
burn,
burn, so slow.
but not even just that. It's just I don't know. Like yeah, I had my issues with Failed Princess. I don't think it's bad. I think especially if you're into Yuri, like it's a fine read. I
Hmm.
enjoyed reading it, but yeah, overall, I thought this was one of the weaker ones on our list. Just
Hmm.
yeah, just because it never quite got there.
Yep. It still did a lot of legwork to try to be good at the very least, and I do appreciate. Again, the supporting cast was very good, and I do think it handled some of what it was going for pretty well.
Oh, definitely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Didn't hit all the right notes, but hit some really good notes.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I'm just looking up from when was this made? 2018.
yeah, 2018 to 2021, so it ran for a
Hmm,
few years. Oh yeah, this was a monthly. Yeah, that makes
yeah,
sense.
so basically same time as Bloom into You. Interesting.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Just
That's
being
really
in that
unfortunate.
enormous
Yeah,
shadow. Holy
like
shit.
like half a year. But Bloom
Oh
into You was much shorter, of course.
no, Bloom to You is the same chapter count. Actually,
Oh
no,
no,
Bloom
yeah,
to You is
I'm
longer. Bloom,
actually, yeah, I'm on the wrong page. I'm on the anime page.
yeah, no, Bloom to You
Maybe
was
I should look at the manga.
Bloom to You was 8 volumes. This one's only 6.
Yeah, I should look at the right page and then I can see. Yeah, no, okay, no, I was talking shit. The manga started 2015, so I mean, Bloom into You was still running while
I
Tail
mean,
Princess came out, but
yeah, I mean it was, and
yeah,
the anime came out when this one was running, so
yeah.
that is a hell of a shadow to
No,
try to climb out from under.
I'm more wondering if maybe this was trying to cop some of the Bloom into You audience and kind of just didn't.
I don't know. I this is a very different vibe from Bloom to You.
Yeah. Yeah,
Bloom
no, that's true.
Yeah, Bloom to You has a very different vibe.
This is another one I could like if it weren't too late at this point, I could see this one making a pretty decent anime just
Hmm.
because of how it's structured. But I don't think it will get one because
No, they generally don't make
especially
anime of completed
yeah,
works
no,
unless it's like
exactly.
already in the works when it's ending.
It's especially not completed works that are more than 2 years old. Like
Yeah.
at that point, just not happening.
Yeah, no. It happens sometimes, but very rarely.
Yeah, no,
It's usually for
they
stuff
want to
that's
ride that hype
really
train.
popular.
I mean, that's kind of my personal like gripe with romance anime is that they usually get produced while the work in question is unfinished,
Mm-hmm.
and that means it can't end,
Yep.
and that annoys me to no end. But yeah, they want to ride that hype train. They're not gonna make an
It's
anime
how
for
that
something that's already passé.
it's how the anime industry works, which is unfortunate.
Yeah,
I really don't like
yeah. I
that.
mean, no, me neither. Like, if they just picked one good thing that is already finished each year and made that 12 or 24 episode anime, that would be great. But, well, I mean, we are getting one this year that might be good, though I'm
Oh
reserved. We'll
yeah,
talk about it later.
we'll be talking
We'll,
about the source
we'll
material
be
for that one in a
talking
couple,
about that later. Yeah,
very shortly. But
yeah.
before that one, we have to discuss another very good one. Goodbye, My Rose
Yes.
Garden.
Yes, Goodbye Rose Garden is actually very good, but it's also very interesting to me,
Mm-hmm.
just because it feels, in a good way, it feels like it's 30 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. I really
Like, well,
what I really like about
sorry,
this
no,
one
you go.
is just how effectively it is a period piece. Like,
Yeah, like hardcore. It really leans into that on every level. Like even as a reader, you're feeling like you're reading something that is of that time.
yep.
And it ended like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's not that old.
No, it's a very recent one, but
Yeah.
I also do like that for all the hints that it's going to be some sort of tragedy or some sort of ultra bitter, barely sweet
No, they
tale.
really do the work.
They do the work to make it have a mostly happy ending.
Yeah. The ending is still kind of weird, but not in a bad way. Like it's weird in the way period pieces have weird endings because
Mm-hmm.
it's a period piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, the thing that I found funniest about this one was just like if you had told me this was written in 1974, I would probably have believed you.
I mean, the issue with it being in 1974 is that anything that actually was gay back then,
Yeah, of
99% of the
course.
time, it had a tragic ending. Because, of
Yeah,
course, it
of
did.
course. Of course it did. But no, but that's what's so effective about it because
Yeah.
it leans into that. You expect that kind of ending, and it doesn't end that way. It does actually have, as you said, a mostly happy ending.
Yeah. I also just really love the two leads. They have such an
Yeah.
interesting dynamic.
Yeah, no, they are super good. Hanako especially is just great.
Hanako is wonderful. And of course,
Also, legitimately an interesting thing. Like, it's not often that they write a Japanese character being the fish out of water.
yeah. Yeah, most of the time it's someone from not Japan who is visiting
Yeah,
Japan.
exactly. So that was, I found, an interesting thing. I think the whole conceit with the novelist is kind of
It's interesting.
contrived, but it's fine. Like it's not terrible. And again, it fits with the whole with the vibe of the thing. I think a lot of the specific developments in Goodbye My Rose Garden, if they were to happen in something that is either not a period piece or just less well executed,
Mm-hmm.
would be grating. Like I wouldn't like them, but because of how well this one leans into the whole period piece thing, you just buy it. It just works.
I mean, part of the reason it works so well as a period piece is because it actually like it follows along with the tropes
Yeah.
and a lot of the specific hallmarks of that time period. This is late
Yeah.
Victorian Britain, and it specifically mentions the death of Oscar Wilde, who
Exactly.
which fairly clearly dates when this is taking place,
Yeah.
but also adds this sense of, oh, this is the kind of environment that they are living in, where being able to express love for someone of the same sex is very forbidden on a very high profile level because of what happened
Yeah.
with this famous individual.
Yeah, I think actually the illusion, or not illusions, the references to Oscar Wilde were really well used to do that, to build this mood. Um, I also thought, again, falling into the same vein of just leaning into the period piece thing, the art does not look
Hmm.
like a manga from 2018.
No, it very much
It,
gives the impression that the author was at least somewhat trying to invoke
at least,
the
yeah, at least read a lot
yeah.
Rosa of Versailles.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
You know,
also
it
yeah.
definitely has this old school shoujo look, and that
Yep.
again, that too helps drive home the whole thing.
Mhm.
Like this is really a very thought out piece from start to finish.
Mhm. But yeah, no. There's also just like I do like some of the supporting characters as well. There aren't that many in this one, but
Yeah,
the ones that do get any degree of focus are good.
yeah,
Uh,
I agree.
I especially like the energetic used bookstore owner.
Yeah,
She
the
she's
used
really
bookstore
fun.
guy is, yeah, she's amazing.
And
Uh,
I do like her. Definitely not a relationship with that other maid
yeah,
lady.
definitely not relationship. No, no,
No, no,
that would be
definitely.
improper.
Yeah, it's most improper. Most improper. I do also like that this one actually had a clear antagonist to kind of like frame to act
Yeah,
as the face of the society that everyone is living in. Because it's kind of hard to write a story about the problems and failings of society without putting a face on that
yeah, I think
and
that was,
personifying it effectively.
yeah, was a good choice to have him, because yeah, he's an antagonist, but he's not really a bad guy in that sense, right? Like
He,
he's,
by the standards of his time, he's a pretty
yeah,
pretty decent
yeah,
person, but he's also like, by the standards of our time, he's kind of
obviously,
an asshole.
yeah, of course he is. But like, I mean, he does things that are definitely assholish, but like his motivation is not great, but understandable in a way
Mm-hmm.
that they didn't have to do. Like they could have just made him the
Generically
asshole and
awful,
that's
yeah.
it. Yeah. And no, they actually devote quite a bit of time to exploring why he is the way he is and why he thinks acting the way he does is appropriate and helps anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, I think this one is just very well realized in concept and execution.
Yeah, no, overall, very good series. I think out of the ones we're talking about today, I'd probably say it's my second favorite of the ones that have been covered before this stream. Not my favorite. That one is substantially later.
Yeah,
Oh, actually, no,
I
second or third favorite because there's
I'm
yeah,
yeah, I definitely know which one's my favorite, so we'll get to it.
yeah. But the next one is also very high up on my list.
Yes,
That
of
would
course.
be I'm in love with the villainess.
Yeah, I think we kind of mentioned this one the last time, but we really didn't talk about it much.
Yep.
Uh, but no, this that one is obviously very good. It's the second good isekai after Digimon.
There are not many good isekai, and this is definitely one of them. I will say that there are some rough bits in the first volume, but overall,
Yeah,
it is a very strong
and
series.
I have heard things about where this one goes that are also that
Hmm.
seem kind of rough. I have the books here. I just didn't get around to reading them yet. Um,
There's some interesting stuff
so
in the later
there's
books.
some weirdness going on in the future, I believe. But no, I'm in love with the villainous. It's just honestly, it's just really fun.
Yeah,
It's
no,
it's just fun. Like the characters are fun, their interactions are fun, and fun in that very anime way.
yeah, I do appreciate that the this actually also does go into like the nuances of what it means to be LGBT plus in a society that
Yeah,
doesn't really understand or well tolerate well that kind
yeah, that's
of life or
That
that
is
kind of
that
a
is one
person.
thing. That is one thing I will mention. Many of the manga we mentioned today, and also like not just Yuri, also like BL stuff, don't really go into societal backlash. Like they
Yeah,
just
no.
kind of no, everyone who's in this book is totally okay with it. And I get why, because
Yeah, it's kind
getting
of a
into the
little bit of
societal backlash is,
escapism as well, but
yeah, it's also just like it's heavy and you can't really, like, honestly, as an author doing a 3 volume thing, what the fuck do you even do with that? Like you can't resolve it. There is no resolving society in 3 volumes.
no.
Uh, so it's kind of like, yeah. So just ignore it. I think there's very few that really even mention it.
hmm Whereas this one
And
talks a lot about like
yeah,
the
definitely.
stereotypes involved, the prejudices involved, all the
Yeah.
other stuff. It doesn't
Of course,
do it.
this one has the advantage of being set in a fantasy world, so
Yes, it also has the advantage of having a much higher allowance of word count than
yeah, of
most
course, it's
manga
it's
do.
it's it's a book. It's a book, not a comic. Like
I hesitate to
makes a
even call it a
difference.
light novel because the novels are pretty thick.
Yeah. Not only thick, also like the subject matter. Like they go deep into politics. They
Yeah,
do actually.
yeah.
In
No,
in
this
a
is
way I honestly didn't expect when I started reading them.
there is a lot of actual really good world building in this one.
Yeah.
Like
The world building is pretty solid, and especially again, it's an isekai. Like the conceit is this is not an actual world. This is kind of the weird world from a game. But the world is more fleshed out than many game worlds I have experienced.
hmm
No, yeah, I think the world building is really good. The characters are really fun. The character interactions are like they take their time. It's not the super slow burn, but it's also not a love at first sight thing.
yeah, no. I
And
mean,
we will be getting an anime later this year.
yes. I do believe the animator is only going to cover the first 2 volumes, though.
I hope it, like, I would be fine with that if it covers that much.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward slash dreading
hmm
seeing how much they cover. I mean, in general, I'm careful with the anime
hmm
because, like,
I'm more concerned about the production values, personally.
yeah, exactly. It didn't look super great in the trailer,
hmm Look, I'm
and
glad it's getting an anime and all, but like, please put effort into making it.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, obviously, I prefer it to be a good anime. Like, I think the base material is good enough to carry whatever they make.
hmm
But yeah, I would prefer it be good. And also, I think like the books are paced in a very specific way.
hmm
And even just reading the manga, I'm already having trouble following it in the way I followed the books. So I'm curious how that will feel in the anime.
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing. Like, that you're going to get different pacing for different mediums.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You have to.
hmm And honestly, there's enough. The material isn't so hefty that you can't fit the first 2 volumes into a one core anime. It would
Yeah,
be
no, I
fine with
agree.
like
Like,
12, 13 episodes, should be enough to cover the first 2 volumes.
yeah, I agree with that.
The issue is that there's 3 more volumes and they're substantially
Yep.
denser than the first
Yeah,
two.
honestly, I wouldn't mind if they just stopped making more of the anime, assuming they cover the first 2 volumes. I think that much you have to cover to tell the story,
Yeah, no. It's
or to
it's
tell a
very,
satisfying story, but you could conceivably end it there and leave on a satisfying note.
yeah. The story is very effectively um divided into 2 acts
Yeah,
in
pretty
the first
much.
2 volumes and the latter 3 volumes. So
Yeah.
like if you cut off at the end of the first act, you're fine. There's enough of a distinctive point where you can just keep it there and it's a satisfying conclusion. There's other stuff that
Yeah,
goes unanswered, but you don't have to necessarily worry about that.
exactly. I think if you cover what is basically the revolution and the immediate aftermath, you're basically good.
Yeah.
And
And this one also has the thing where it has a lot of supporting characters that have really
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah,
the cast is huge.
yeah. By Yuri standards, this is a very big cast,
Yeah.
and I like that.
Also, three men.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
two.
two,
Uh,
3.5. No, 2.5. Kind of, sort of. It's complicated. It's
it's
very
complicated.
complicated. But
But
yes.
no, yeah, the cast. But that's like an achievement of it. The cast is huge, but you know the cast. Like it's not.
Yeah.
They all get their room to breathe.
Yeah, and they all have like distinctive character arcs, though some are more
Yeah.
complete than others.
Well, of course, but like with the three princes, where every one of them ends up makes sense. You
Mm-hmm.
understand it as a reader. It's not just something the book tells you, and you're like, well, okay, I guess this is it.
It's like, yeah, no, they don't just like drop a character for a whole
Yeah,
volume and say, oh, by the way, this is what happened with this guy.
yeah.
Bye.
On the contrary, when they send a character away, they usually tell you exactly why and devote quite some time to it. And
Mm-hmm. That's pretty effective
yeah,
at it, I
so
think.
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, there's also just the other auxiliary couples to the main couple are also, for the most part, pretty good. There is one
Yeah.
that I am just like super hardcore side eyeing, but that's a whole different thing. Whole different thing. Uh,
Well, sometimes people are like that.
yeah, I don't know why the author made that couple the way that they
Yeah.
did, but what you gonna do? I can't do shit about it. I am very curious to see how the anime is gonna handle that.
I mean, I'm curious to see how the anime is gonna handle a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
because,
I
like,
really hope
this
that they
is
don't
very
cut.
much a novel first.
Yeah, I really hope they don't cut out that monologue. That the monologue that Ray has about why she acts the way she does so early on.
Yeah, no, I think that's what made me like the series the way I do. So I hope that's the. And again, I think that's very much a piece of identity of this thing that it can have these monologues, that it can
Mm-hmm.
do that.
One other thing I do like about this series is that, unlike a lot of other isekai, Ray's pre-isekai life very much has an influence on how she acts in the isekai world, beyond just like
Yeah,
giving her little
absolutely.
cheat
Like,
codes.
yeah, no, that's like I think the interaction between basically Ray and her past self version
Mm-hmm.
is super important to how the story and the character develops. Like she comes in with very developed opinions on things and doesn't like Ray is actually a pretty flat character. She doesn't really change much.
Mm-hmm.
But that is because she comes in already so actualized and so comfortable with herself.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. And this series also has the thing where there is a lot of representation in it beyond just the
Yeah, just
main
a lot.
couple, or beyond just like, oh hey, they're all, everyone in the cast is lesbians. There we go. That's
Yeah.
it. That's everything. No,
No,
like
no.
one of the one of the members of the main couple is bisexual, and she spends a lot of time coming to terms with that. Like,
Yeah, that's basically like her first arc is kind of that.
yeah.
Well,
And,
her second arc maybe.
and I do also appreciate that the series looks at the trope of, oh, I'm normally this way, but this person's an exception to my normal sexual preferences,
Yeah.
so that's okay. It's like Ray's like, you do realize
No.
that's just basically being bi, right?
Yeah.
You're just bi, but picky about it.
Yeah. That's great.
I do like
Yeah, no,
the just the subtle roasting of that trope.
no, I think in general the discussions of sexuality and also romantic attraction
Mm-hmm.
in I'm in love with a villainess are not only good but also just much better than the title might make you believe because I mean it sounds like a basic otome game
Yeah,
isekai.
yeah. I mean, it's helped that it's not a standard otome isekai by being
Yeah.
Yuri focused.
Yeah. Well, ask fucking what's it called?
Ocarina.
Yeah.
Well, that's more just a bi harem with a neutron star protagonist
Yeah.
because she's so
I
dense.
mean, I don't know. Yeah, I know. I dropped out after the first season because I was
The
like,
first
okay,
season's a good concluding point for that one.
yeah,
You do not need to
yeah.
consume more of
My,
it.
my my reaction to seeing they're making another season was like, but why? I've gotten everything I will ever get out of this.
Exactly. You do not
Yeah,
need more. But that's not the
exactly.
case with this one. This one actually has
No,
the
this
second
one,
act of this story is actually really interesting because it's like we're going international, baby.
yeah. Like again, as I said, it goes deep into politics, again in ways you wouldn't necessarily expect, and not in that weird isekai where it's like, well, this isekai protagonist is the political genius who is going to save everything. No, like
Not
the
even
world is
that. Like
fucked, and it will still
the
remain fucked
the furthest
after.
most isekais go into politics is, hey, this guy's super powerful, so we're gonna give him a lot of titles
So
and
he's the
shit.
king now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
the king, or he's the duke, or he's a count, or some shit. It's like
Yeah,
that's as far as most of them go. It's like they don't really look at the inner workings or the
yeah,
cultures involved in
and
these settings that they end up
and
in.
yeah, I think that's it. Like this one just is very concerned with world building, and that helps it ultimately elevate itself.
Yeah, it also does a lot to go into how the world and the characters interact.
Yeah, like I mean, that's why I said being biased maybe Claire's second arc, because her first arc is how does, like, what is my privilege and how does my privilege shape me?
Yep.
And that's just super interesting to see because again, it's something that doesn't come up often, especially in stories like these.
Mm-hmm.
And she does make like a huge turn after she kind of starts examining herself, and that's
Yeah.
like that's good, that's important, and that's not just fun to read, it's also important to see that that is a thing that happens in fiction.
Yeah. Yeah. Again,
Because she, like, it's not a redemption arc, it's not,
no. I do
well, you're good
also.
now, it's, yeah,
This one also does a lot to talk about class conflict in these kinds of settings,
yeah,
which is
exactly.
like never brought up in like the vast majority of fantasy anime or
I
manga.
mean, it's never brought up in most anime or manga because of the weird relationship the Japanese have with work,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but let's not get into that. No, I think no, I absolutely agree. I think that's really what makes this one stand out. Not just that it's Yuri, but also that it just
Mm-hmm.
gets into stuff in a way that many comparable things just don't. Either because they can't or they won't.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing I will say, like when this gets into stuff like be it sexuality, be it like workers' rights or class warfare or whatever, it it becomes blunt as fuck because like there is no point in half measures. It
Yeah, no, they don't.
usually pretty bluntly states what it's about.
To quote a certain wizard, "Fuck subtle."
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
and I think yeah, I think that's good because again, especially in Japanese media, often like societal critique is very subtle and very buried, just so you can say,
yeah.
well,
Even the more flagrant ones, even stuff like Persona, is
yeah,
gonna be like, oh yeah, kind of hems and haws in some areas than
yeah,
others. Like,
and
I love Persona,
so do I.
but yeah, no. This one just does not hold back on saying like,
No,
hey, yeah, aristocratic institutions are pretty fucked, and there's a reason heads roll and guillotines get bust out for those.
yeah, and I mean, heads do roll.
Yeah. Oh,
So yeah,
God
this one
damn it.
definite recommendation.
Yeah, no, hard recommendation. The one caveat is Ray is a bit cringeworthy in the first volume.
Yeah, I mean, it's stupid comparison, but it's
Yeah.
kind of like BoJack Horseman, where in the beginning they do all this very tropey stuff
Mm-hmm.
to to set a certain mood just so they can break it, and you
Yeah.
do kind of have to be okay with that. Like the whole, yeah, Ray in the first few chapters, what I will assume will be like the first 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah, before we get that
It's
monologue,
like, oof. Yeah.
please keep that monologue in, anime
Oh
producers.
my god.
Fucking
Honestly, if they
please.
if they don't, they kind of fucked up the adaptation because
Oh
that
yeah,
is a
no.
super important
I
part.
remember when there was this little controversy about them not them actually excluding that monologue from several whatchamacallits. The,
Like localizations or
yeah, like the localization, at least the English localization. They were yeah, they exclude that monologue from the initial English localization for some reason.
that's stupid.
It is very stupid, but that's what happened, and I don't know why.
Neither do I.
It's
Just
just so
reading it.
puzzling.
Why would you? Yeah, exactly. Like honestly, just reading it. Why would you think that you can cut that?
I don't know.
That's like cutting. I don't know, Elrond from Lord of the Rings. It
Yeah, I don't get
makes
it.
no sense.
I do not get it. I could not tell you. But yeah,
Yep.
that is that's I'm in love with the Villainess, and again, excellent series, 100% recommend it. But we should move
Definitely.
on now
Yep.
to Monologue Woven For You, which is about theater girls, which I know
Yeah,
Laura
as
has
you
a lot of
know,
experience with.
you, you know, I have a soft spot for theater lesbians. No, I thought this one was mostly good.
Yeah, this one is pretty good. I do have issues with the third act again.
Yeah, I have yeah, the drama gets very contrived. I mean, honestly, the whole conceit is kind of contrived.
Uh, yeah, no, I think the issue is like I can't really relate to this particular struggle of hey, I don't want to communicate this, and
Yeah,
I'm also
like
going
that's
to just
very
lose
weird.
my shit because this person found out this deep dark secret that isn't really a deep dark secret about me.
Yeah, exactly. Like they have this very benign issue that isn't
Yeah,
really that bad, but they treat it with all the gravitas of like one of them being a war criminal.
yep,
And that didn't really work for me. I will also say, in terms of production value, this one is towards the lower end. Like the art isn't great. Lots of big page filling spreads, so you don't have to draw a lot for one page and
yeah,
stuff like that. But to the point where I actually noticed it while reading.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I think like one, as I said, the drama is a little contrived about yeah, about this very benign thing. I also think it does get a little hung up on itself around the middle where it's like when it starts to explore what acting means to everyone and it's just kind of
like I
yeah,
get that a little bit, but at the same time, like, come on, come on.
yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
like,
I think yeah.
I feel like Haruka's backstory is a little bit like I get it, but at the same time, girl, come on.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. All the developments and all the reasoning and all the drama
Mm-hmm.
is is super low stakes,
Mm-hmm.
but not treated that way and not like in an interesting or fun way. It's written like a high drama piece, but it doesn't have any high drama content.
Yeah, and also like I like the main couple. They're very cute together and all.
Yeah,
And
the characters are super charming.
the conflict between them was just like unnecessary.
Yeah,
We're going to be getting into another one really shortly that didn't have any substantial conflict between the main couple, and it was still
yeah,
absolutely lovely because they just had the
absolutely.
sweetest vibes.
Absolutely no. I think honestly, I think the drama about the non-existent problem of
Yeah, like
one
now
being the other's inspiration to become an actress is kind of what hurts this one most. Which sucks to say because
yeah.
it's basically the setup, and saying the setup is bad, but the thing is actually kind of interesting and fun to read is
Yeah,
like
no, it's
sounds
weird.
stupid,
Like
but yeah, that's
I feel
that's
like
what it
what
is.
should have resolved the conflict is what's stated in the second volume by now, which is that I get that she's keeping this from me. I will respect her doing that because she clearly has her reasons for keeping this secret from me.
Yeah.
And like that
But I
should have
don't
just been
even
the end
get
of
why
it.
she kept it a secret. Like that,
Yeah,
the fact
no.
that she
It's
was
just
so hung up on the secret makes already no sense. And then
it's
having this, yeah, very good reaction of, well, okay, I don't really care.
look,
But then still making it two more volumes worth of drama is just kind of ah
it's just yeah. Yeah.
didn't quite work for me.
Yeah. No, I just hate that kind of contrivance. It's just so
Yeah,
unnecessary and it just drags out narrative when you could be focusing on other things with your narrative.
yeah. And I think, yeah, and as I said, like the production values aren't super high, and in a way that does kind of hurt the whole thing because
One thing I do
if you,
appreciate that is that about this one is that it's available in full color, which is a
yeah,
rarity for
that's like
manga.
that's great, that's cool, that's super refreshing to look at. But yeah, at the same time, or not at the same time, I don't think coloring stuff like this one is digitally colored, so I assume coloring stuff is relatively quick. Uh, but yeah, I just think the production value kind of hurts this one in that if every chapter is like 50% splash pages, you just don't have room to develop things. Like I
Yeah.
think the supporting cast is a bit underdeveloped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh,
I don't think much. I think the only member of the supporting cast that gets much development is June, and that's it.
yeah, I think so too. Um, I think like at some point in one of the later chapters they were in that cafe and I absolutely did not recognize that location because it
I just had so much trouble keeping track of the secondary characters outside of June.
yeah, exactly. Like it was just who are these people and what are we talking about and yeah. So yeah, I think yeah, this one is probably the weakest one on our list
Yeah, I'd say so. Probably the weakest one.
with maybe one exception we will get to later, which well, I don't want to say too much. We'll get to it.
Is it sooner or later?
Later.
Okay, I think I know which one you're talking about then. But yeah, no, this one's still a fairly fun read. I think it's the shortest one that besides it's the second shortest one on this list. I'm pretty sure because
Yeah,
we have several
probably.
3 volume entries. This one has the shortest volumes overall,
Yeah.
so it's a very quick, light read. So if you don't mind the excessive drama bullshits, then you're in for a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't hurt to read it. It's just there's better stuff.
Yeah,
If you have time, read something else.
I
But
would honestly
if you
recommend
just
most of the other stuff on this sampler over this one,
yeah, pretty
with
much.
with the probable
Again, with
exception
with
of
one with one probable or possible exception, we'll get to it.
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, let us move on then to the next entry on this list. Our teachers are dating.
Yeah, so I have read this one quite some time ago. But I do remember really liking it. I think
It's very nice and fluffy.
it's yeah, exactly. It's mostly fluff. Like there's
This is also
barely any story.
yeah. This is also, I think, the most sexually explicit one on this list by far.
Yes, by far.
Like, holy shit, there is a lot of banging in this one.
Yeah, no, if they sold this to me as porn, I would not be surprised. Like
Yeah.
this
They're like
uh
it only happens like once in the first volume, but after that it's like 2 or 3 sex
they're
scenes in
going at it
every
like
volume.
rabbits, yeah.
Like hot damn.
Yeah.
These two ladies are going at it, and good for them.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't think I have much to say about it because, as you said, it's very fluffy, and I think it's legitimately mostly fluff. I don't think there's a lot of story. Like
There's not a lot of conflict
the
in this one, no, and that's
yeah,
fine. That is perfectly
like
fine.
what's happening in this one is their class is supporting them.
Their class and their colleagues are all supporting them, and
Yeah, they are all shippers.
yeah, they are all just absolutely adoring this pairing. Oh my god, my OTP got together.
Yes, it very much has that vibe. Yeah.
But hey, it's a good vibe, and they
No,
are very
absolutely.
lovely as a couple.
It's very cute.
There is, of course, also a lot of background Yuri in this one as well.
Yeah.
And you know what?
This one
That's
this one
nice.
is very by the like this one is very by the book, but in a good way. Like
Yeah.
it's like a comfortable warm bath you just sink into.
Yep. Yep, it is. But yeah, I do appreciate that, and also just like the background Yuri and all that. I do also appreciate that this one just straight up ends with them getting married.
Yeah,
Because it's a logical step. Because they
of
start
course.
out
Like
dating and they escalate to,
yeah,
traveling to Bone Town uh, repeatedly.
all the time.
Yeah. But hey,
No,
I do
I think
appreciate that
this
it shows them having a healthy sex life.
yeah. No, I think overall like this is a legitimate showing the relationship kind of manga.
Hmm.
Like often when something advertises like well they're already dating, it's some weird contrivance where they're dating even though they don't really know each other at all. But no, this to me is a very decent, actually show their relationship manga.
Hmm.
In of
Like,
course not in a realistic way, like as you said, it's super fluffy, but you know
yeah,
that's fun.
it is fun. And it's nice. And again, like I said, I do appreciate that they show other women in relationships with each other as well, from two girls, like couple of schoolgirls confessing and becoming an item, to even an elderly woman who was in a relationship with another woman at one point.
Yeah,
I just really like that variability.
yeah, no,
It's
absolutely.
really
It's
neat.
just neat to have and not have this weird bubble.
Yeah. It doesn't even do the whole, but we're both girls thing that a lot of
No,
the
not at
old.
all.
No, it's just like, oh, hey,
Okay, our teachers are dating.
good for them. Good for them.
Yeah,
Yeah. This is a good one. It's an easy recommendation if you are fine with sexually explicit material and just like,
yeah,
it's a very light-hearted, fluffy thing. So, if you don't like your stuff to be light on the plot, maybe avoid this one. But otherwise, it's a good one.
yeah. That's those are the two caveats. Like it does have
A
sexual
lot.
explicit, and there's really not a lot of plot going on.
Yeah.
It's really just fluff.
Yeah. Those are the two main issues anyone would have with this. But other than that,
Yeah,
it's an easy recommendation.
I'd agree with that.
Moving on to the next one, Roadqueen. This one I don't believe is a manga per se. I believe it's a manhwa. But
Yeah, you'll have to take the lead on this one. I did not get around to reading it, unfortunately.
so
I've
this
been
one's an
waiting for my
interesting
copy for a
one.
few weeks.
So this one's an interesting one. Let me look up the synopsis so I can read it out to you. But in a nutshell, it's a very how do I put it? So the synopsis is Leo's the hottest senior at Princess Andromeda Academy, and her adoring fangirls have one goal: beat her in a road race and win the chance to date her. Unfortunately for them, the only thing Leo loves more than breaking hearts is her faithful motorcycle, Bethany. But when a
Okay,
mysterious girl named Vega takes Bethany away, Leo finds her heart may have been stolen too.
that's a lot.
So the core conceit of this one is that Leo is the school chick magnet, and but she loves her motorcycle way more than even though she is very gay, she is much more of a person who enjoys riding on her bike than she
she's
does dating.
she's more motorsexual.
Yes. But then this girl, Vega, comes along and steals her bike for reasons unknown at first, and basically says, You can get your bike back if you will date me for a couple times. And though I think she offers different conditions at first before changing the conditions to take me on a date.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the whole this is a one volume thing. This is a one and done thing. But the whole conceit is basically revolving around the mystery of why Vega is doing this and how will Leo fall for her? The answer is yes to that second question, by the way, because obviously.
Yeah, of course.
But yes, this is an interesting one. I think this is a very fun ride. It does not have a typical manga art style to it at all.
Yeah, I saw that. As I said, I ordered it. I just didn't get it.
Oh,
I
you
saw
didn't
that it
get.
looked very different.
Oh, did it not show up to you, or is it just like delayed?
It it's delayed, yeah.
That's unfortunate. But yeah,
Yeah, it's hard to get international stuff here.
I bet. Yeah, it's a fun one though. I won't go into spoilers on this one since you haven't read it, but the obvious spoiler is obvious. The question isn't
Yeah, I
what
mean,
happens.
of
The
course.
question is how it
This is
happens.
why. Yeah, exactly. That's generally how I approach romance. Like, come on, we all know why we're here.
Will they or won't they is just like the most disingenuous question because
Yeah,
99%
exactly.
of the time is they
They
will. It's not a
obviously
question
will.
of if, but when and how.
Yeah, exactly.
I just wish they would stop being so disingenuous with that. Seriously, like,
Mm, I agree.
you are setting up audience expectations for a
I
these people are going to hook up story.
Yeah, I honestly think this is way off topic because it's not a Yuri thing, but I honestly think Toradora does a really good job with that, where it's like the first episode starts and you know exactly what's gonna happen, you just don't know how it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I
I,
remember reading a review where someone was criticizing that, and my reaction was like, dude,
my dude,
that's what you come here for. Why do you even watch this if you don't want that?
my dude, my guy. You
Yeah,
need to understand this is what the conceit is. This is
yeah,
what they are
exactly.
going for.
Yeah.
But no, this is a fun
But
one.
yeah, back to topic. No, definitely. I'm looking forward to getting my copy. It's just, as I said, like getting the more niche the stuff I need gets, the harder it is to get. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to be waiting like a month or some shit.
Well, maybe we can discuss this on the next one, but who knows?
Yeah.
It's a fun time, and being only one volume, you get your whole experience in just one volume. So
Yeah,
you
that's
don't
the thing. Like,
that is
even if I don't super enjoy it, I'm just going to read it because duh.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We can go over this one next year, perhaps. Who knows? I don't. But moving
We'll see.
on to the next entry, still sick.
Yes, this one was my favorite of the ones we read.
Oh, okay. That this one isn't my favorite, but I do enjoy this one.
Okay. I thought it was really, really good. Like, I
Oh,
really enjoyed it.
it was very good. My favorite's still yet to come. I think you know which one it is.
Yeah, I mean, I assume I do.
Yeah.
But you could surprise me.
No, I will not be surprising you at all. This one's an interesting
Well,
one though, because this is a workplace rom com, as is
yes.
usual with some of the better romances. But this one has an interesting approach in that it very much is about uh, the process of creativity and creating manga and dojins. And
Yeah.
the
And,
the
and in that way, it doesn't really stay a workplace rom-com. Like,
yeah,
one of them quits.
yeah, no, which adds a lot of complexity to the relationships, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that this is another one where just the conceit is already more interesting than many others, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But the execution is really what makes it because the way their relationship is shaped by their past hang-ups with
Mm-hmm.
things.
Yep.
Uh
I do especially like how this manga tackles burnout.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
That's definitely for her, for Akane. That's her thing.
yeah,
She used to be a mangaka and couldn't handle it. Like
yeah.
she
Like,
burned out hard.
yeah. Most things about creative fields just do not tackle this the idea of burnout all that
Yeah.
much, and I don't know why. Because burnout is just a very
Well,
very
because
big part of creation. Like,
because it's very hard to romanticize your job when you're telling everyone how much it burns you out.
I I get that, but at the same time, like it's an important thing to discuss when you're talking about that kind of thing.
No, absolutely. And I mean, with her especially, like I think it's not just her burnout, like, or
Hmm.
rather, her burnout is a symptom of many things.
Oh, she has issues. She has
Not
many
only the
issues.
fact that he was basically drawing a manga she didn't really want to make,
Hmm.
uh, but she was also filtering a lot of her parental issues through that,
Yeah.
and to an extent that never really goes away. Like she's very much someone who projects the facade for
Hmm.
most people, and she never really stops doing that.
Hmm. Uh,
And at the same time, I think it also has a very like it's very good when it tackles Makoto questioning her sexuality, for example.
hmm.
That's a good stretch of the manga
Hmm.
where she basically, I mean, that's also where it's weakest, like because at first it's very standard, like I only
Oh,
like 2D girls.
I like Yuri. I just don't like actual
Yeah,
girls
yeah,
type
I
thing.
don't
Yeah.
like actual anyone actually, and she no, and she often questions herself, but not in a way that feels like overly dramatic or
Hmm.
but like she doesn't really get into that but we're both girls thing. She more gets into that I have this image of myself and I'm put in a situation where that image is no longer sustainable.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's just interesting. Like that's a more interesting way to tackle it than going we're both girls.
Yeah.
Like, great, fine. I don't care.
Yeah. No. The trope will never not bother me. Uh,
Yeah, no, I agree. Like that's never super interesting. And no, I as I said, I think the main conceit of having someone who is a hobbyist and someone who used to be a professional
hmm.
but burned out hard
I do
is
like that
just
contrast. It's
interesting.
very
Yeah,
neat.
it's an interesting because it also never goes into that. Like Makoto never says, "Well, if I could have been a mangaka, I would have X whatever. I would have loved it. I would have done everything." Like she never, quite
No.
the opposite.
Yeah.
She says, "No, I couldn't do it. I don't even want to. I want to stay a hobbyist."
Yeah. No. And she's never condemned for that either.
No, and also like this is the minorest of minor things, but for a workplace thing, Makoto is just really good at her job.
Yep.
Like her job is an actual part of her character, and that is so rare in workplace things where people just kind of have jobs.
Yep. I like at
and
one
and,
point
and not not
it's a
not
plot
in a
point that she gets
way.
promoted at one
Yeah,
point.
exactly. And like not in a way where it's like where it like glorifies being a worker or some shit.
No.
Like she very specifically states, no. I work so I can afford to have my hobby and afford to draw my
Yeah.
dojins. And
She just
but
happens
she's
to
just
also
very
be good
good
at
at
her
it.
job.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. So I think no, as I said, this one was probably my favorite of the ones we read this time around. I really got into it. I really like the art. I thought, which is again weird to say about a slice of life romance, but the art felt super kinetic. Like it
The
really
art was
popped.
very
I
good, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it also like harkening back to what we just said before. When you start reading or watching a series like this, you know where it's going. I think this one is self-aware in a very productive way. Like it knows what you expect and it gives it to you, but it almost always puts like a tiny twist on it just to make it a little more interesting.
Yeah.
And I think that basically works out 100% of the time.
Yeah, it does. I agree. Man, this is a very interesting, and I think it's overall very good.
I obviously agree.
Oh, I know. But yeah, hmm. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this one. I do think,
No, I don't think I have
yeah,
either.
overall,
Except I'm just
solid
seeing that
recommendation.
apparently there's a sequel.
There's a sequel,
But
really?
like it's listed as a dojin, but it's by the original artist and writer.
Oh, so
It's
okay, so not like an official
mm,
sequel, just like
no. But it's apparently done by the actual person. Like it's weird. I don't know. I'll have to look into it.
well,
I
you'll
assume it's just like one chapter or something.
probably, well, you'll have to post about that when you find out.
Yeah.
In the meantime, moving on to the penultimate entry on the list,
Yes.
Strawberry Fields once again. I take it this
Oh
is the one you
boy.
are critiquing.
Yes. Oh
It's
boy. This one goes places.
yeah, not the best places, it turns out.
Um, just places, lots of places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah. Quick rundown. The premise for this one is uh wow, we're right back where we just were. A girl who says, no, I'm only interested in 2D relationships, I only interested in playing my dating sims and stuff. Uh gets essentially hit on by another girl who is apparently her wife from the future.
Yes,
And like
kind
that's
of.
already an incredibly weird premise.
I mean,
in
yeah.
in good ways and bad ways.
Yes. Yes.
Because like there's like yes, she looks like she's also like I don't know how old they are, like a 16, 17-year-old or whatever.
I
But
don't know.
no, she very clearly states she's basically 25.
Yeah.
And that is already kind of
It's a
unfortunate,
bit
let's
iffy,
say.
yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, while you're reading it, you kind of get over it, but it's always there, and that just doesn't help.
Mm-hmm.
That the rest of this thing is batshit crazy
Mm-hmm.
because, like I mentioned, she comes from the future, and that means we have time travel.
Time travel is always a very tricky trope to get right.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the best way to do it was what Avengers Endgame did, where it just basically said, "Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, yeah.
It works the way it works. Don't worry about it." This manga does not do that. It
I
tries to explain the time travel to you, and that is already an issue.
I mean, I don't mind them explaining it. I mind how they go about
Yeah,
the actual
yeah.
mechanics of it.
In my notes, it literally says, "Oh no, time travel explanations."
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's kind of the thing. Like we have this already kind of weird premise
Mm-hmm.
executed in a super weird way because the wife from the future. I genuinely don't remember the character's name. I'm so sorry.
Pure, I
Uh,
believe.
yeah, Pure, exactly. It's like super clingy and like it's just weird.
Yep. It is a little bit weird.
Yeah. And then you have all this time travel stuff grafted on top of it, which just makes this a very disjointed and strange read.
Mm-hmm. It's not the worst read, to be fair.
No,
There
it's
are
not. It's not terrible. I think everything we read this year was at least serviceable.
yes.
And
It is probably the weakest, though.
but yeah, it might. I think yeah. Thinking about, it, I think this one is weaker than Monologue Woven for You.
Mm-hmm.
That's because of how weird it is. And, like
Yeah.
it's not even fun weird. It's not like, ooh, this is interesting. It's more like, what the fuck is even going on?
I
And
could
that's
not tell
just
you.
not great. Yeah, exactly. Suffice to say, her brother is a super genius who invents time travel
Yep.
because he doesn't like their father.
because he wants their mother to have a happy ending, of course.
Exactly, and that only. Oh yeah, now I remember, and that can only happen if she never meets the dad.
Yeah,
But it turns out that actually his time travel shit caused her meeting the dad, and so he's the maker of his own bad luck or some shit. I don't know. Like it gets so confusing towards the end.
it's super weird. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. Like when you hear the premise of like girl from the future meets her love, it's like, oh, this sounds kind of fun. And
Mm-hmm.
then you start reading it and just go, yeah, and just it just keeps going and going different places, and by the
Just
end, it's
keeps
just
going and
boy,
going and going.
going. That too, it's kind of too long. Like
Yeah,
it's not very long, but it's kind of too long.
yeah.
And also, like the I don't remember the character's names. Pure and what's the other one? Anyway, main
Um,
girl doesn't ever really get into it. Like,
I mean, she starts doing it kinda, but then her
yeah,
memories get erased.
yeah, but then her memories get erased and time travel happens again, and it's I don't know. No, this one really I struggled with this one a little bit. Like this is the only one I wouldn't somewhat recommend on this list probably because
Mm.
while it's kind of fun, it's also like it never really rises above itself, and there's just better stuff to read.
Yeah, yeah. No. Akira. That was her name.
Yes.
Should have remembered it. I just finished this one yesterday.
See?
I guess Pure just stands out more as a more distinctive name.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. No.
I
This.
mean, she also does more. Akira is very passive.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Akira is
I
not
mean,
the.
why wouldn't she be?
Yeah. There is also the issue of just like. I, Now, this manga isn't really ableist per se, so much as it tackles like the idea of the way in which future Akira was disabled. Kind of just
Yeah.
makes life extremely hard for her.
Yeah.
And like, I get it. Like, being handicapped and being in chronic pain makes a lot of things difficult for a person. And I do appreciate the manga does address that.
Yeah.
It's
But
there's just like that slight unfortunate implication of that they're going back in time to fix this person's disability because
yeah,
this
no,
person's
that's
disability is making them suffer. Which,
definitely somewhat unfortunate.
yeah, it's not the worst tackling of the subject. To be fair, there are much worse
Yeah, but
tacklings
I
of the
mean, let's
subject.
be honest. You invented time travel. Couldn't you have just invented like medicine for her?
Yeah, yeah, no.
That would probably have been easier than inventing time travel and murdering yourself, kind of.
I mean, to be fair, he's not the source of the time travel. He just invented the machine for it.
Yeah, he just happened. Well, not happened because time travel is involved, but he just happened to meet the woman who just happened to be able to time travel.
Yeah,
So weird.
yeah,
Yeah, like I think I reconsidered. I will recommend this one if you don't mind reading something that basically goes nowhere and is crazy.
yeah. This one's batshit insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Again, not the worst Yuri series I've ever seen. I still think
No, by
that's
far,
Citrus.
not by.
I,
Well, probably.
I still think Citrus is the worst one I've seen.
Yeah, Citrus is terrible.
God. Or you probably pissed off all the fans of Citrus, but whatever.
I don't give a shit.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, people like what they like, but I think Citrus is trash. No, again, like this one, when people say anime is weird, this is what they mean. Where it's just
Yeah.
like, what is even happening? And
Yeah.
why and how?
It is a very funky series.
Yeah. So I assume this one wasn't your favorite.
No, of course not. My favorite is the next one. Whisper Me a
Yeah,
Love
that makes
Song.
sense. Which is very good.
It is extremely good. It is easily it's one of the top three
Yeah.
series that we had on this list.
Yeah. It might only not be my favorite because it's not finished.
Yeah, that is the issue with it. It is still in the middle of an. It's not even. It's not only not finished; it's in the middle of an ongoing arc too.
Yeah, exactly. Is but won't I think it will get a manga
It's
anime
getting an
adaptation
anime.
soon?
It's getting an anime
Yeah,
in
right?
January.
Yeah, I thought so. That I read that somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. I believe it's set to cover the first 3 volumes, which make their own complete arc, which is good.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I am. I like the series to the point where I'm actually considering just like reading ahead, even though the manga volumes for it are not out yet, because I need more of this in my veins. Damn it! You know what I'm talking about. You know
Yeah, no,
exactly what I'm
absolutely.
talking about.
Honestly, while I was reading it, a lot of the time, I just in the back of my head was thinking about how will they do this in the anime
Hmm.
because music features so heavily.
Yeah, honestly, the one thing that makes it hard for me to read most music manga is the fact that like music works so much better in anime than it does in manga.
Yeah, of course.
It's an
Like that's
inherent
the thing.
advantage
Like
of the medium.
I love K-On! The anime, and I started or tried reading the manga, and I just couldn't. Like it just didn't work for me
Again,
at all.
it's an
Because
inherent medium
yeah,
advantage.
and that's like I'm seriously wondering how they'll do that if they'll just have a really good opening and use that all the time. But like, there's so much music in this. I'm so interested in that,
Hmm.
just from a production perspective. But of course, no, this one is also very good as a story.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Honestly,
the
like
characters are super fun.
yeah, no, the characters are amazing, and the story is very good. The main couple is just absolutely delightful.
Yeah, they are great together.
Like they have this very nice arc for the first 3 volumes of them just like deciding becoming a couple and all, and it's just really sweet to watch pan out. But also, I like the supporting cast as well. Like
Yes,
they
I
all
would
just play off each.
generally agree.
There is one exception, who is a
I
very
wonder who it is.
we both know who the character is.
I assume yes.
It's Shiho. Shiho is just
Yeah, of course.
she is a very aggravating character, let's
Yeah,
say.
she has just like a very unfortunate energy.
There's so much frustrating about her, not least because like she's so close to just doing a good thing. She's so close.
Yeah.
And then she fucks it up by
Yeah.
being just super abrasive.
I mean, not gonna lie, Aki also kind of questionable,
Aki at least makes sense.
but yeah, exactly, but she makes sense. She
Shiho
was just a little
Shiho's
shit for basically no reason.
it's pride. It's all
Yeah.
pride. I'm pretty sure that's it. Like
Yeah, probably, but that sucks. That's I mean, I'm sure, like, from what I've read so far, I'm sure she will have a good character arc because this manga has been
mhm,
handling characters really well.
mhm.
And I'm sure of the same thing for Aki, but those are the two characters that I think are most likely to turn people off from reading.
To be fair, Aki does not make the first arc all that difficult to read. She causes a little bit of friction here, but otherwise
Yeah, I
is
mean,
a
it's
graceful loser
it's
to in the
yeah,
quote unquote love triangle.
yeah. The thing with Aki is more like, but that could just be me. To me, she has like this constant presence
Hmm.
where I feel it's not actually fully resolved yet.
I get that. I think part of the issue is that there's the hint that Shiho is so abrasive because she is romantically jealous of Aki's
Yes,
crush on Yuri.
yes, exactly. Like that's the thing. Like
And
it's
it's ambiguous how much or even if Aki reciprocates
is
that.
aware of that
Yeah.
or is even aware of that.
Yeah.
Like yeah. And and honestly that could go in a kind of unfortunate direction where it's kind of like a well, pair up the spares thing. Uh
Well, at least in this case, it's very much a case of the romantic drama being baked into the narrative of these character arcs.
No, exactly, and that's why I have full confidence that this whatever will happen will be done well
Yeah,
because the characters are very much. It's less a character having an arc and more the characters being structured around their arcs, and that
yeah,
makes a lot more sense as a reader and as a writer.
yeah. I mean, of the five other notable supporting cast members,
Yeah,
four of them are in implied relationships with each other. So
implied. Uh,
it's all but outright stated. Yeah.
yeah,
One
no,
one of those pairings is more explicit than the other in terms of like whether or not they're in a relationship.
yes,
It's just implied with Kaori and Mari, but Momoka and Hajime are like basically
definitely fucking.
yeah yeah no they're boning. Look, I wasn't gonna
No,
say it.
absolutely. Listen,
I wasn't gonna
no,
say it.
I think the supporting cast is really good, but
Mhm.
the two main characters are also really good. Like
The two main
they're
characters are what sell you on the series.
yeah. I think what this series does really well, what some others kind of often falter, is they actually manage with Yori being both the cool girl but also cute. Like
Yeah,
often,
they managed to
often,
thread that needle beautifully.
yeah. And she is the same person the entire time. And often you have that thing where the two sides of that person, that character, just are completely different people or something.
Oh my god, she's a Gideon.
Oh my god, she is.
She's cool, but she's also a disaster lesbian.
Oh no.
Am I
Do
wrong?
I have a
No. Am I wrong?
do we have a type?
She's wonderful.
No,
She's great.
no, she is. She is.
But yeah, no, it's just I really like this one in no small part because there is like this nice melding of love with this desire for expressing your feelings and your emotions through song.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean,
At least with Yori and her music.
yeah. Honestly, this one gave me a lot of uh vibes.
What now?
Of Kaze-san. What's it called? In English? Jesus Christ, I'm stupid. Yeah, Kaze-san and Morning Glories. The
Oh, Kaze-san. I thought you said
yeah,
Kazu-san. I was like, I don't know
no,
any
not
Kazu-san.
that's an instrument. No, no, Kaze-san. I think like this one scratched a very similar itch for me.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like the main relationship is never really in question, but there's enough interesting stuff happening around them to make for entertaining conflict.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do also appreciate that most of the conflict in this is not remotely contrived. It's very much
No, it's
around
very much
the
it grows
individual
from the characters. Yeah,
insecurities of the characters.
yeah, absolutely. That's definitely a big positive. That is not at all contrived. It really feels very flowing and natural.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I just so when I told you I was going through a few of the manga at the same time, I wasn't lying. But when I was starting on Whisper Me a Love Song, I was just like, ah, shit, I'm gonna have to
Nope.
just binge through all
Gonna
this.
gonna binge read this.
Yep, just I started and I could not stop. That was like, I was trying to rotate and I was like, throw that
Nope.
out the window. It's just
Yeah,
this,
no, it's a good one.
yeah, it's just infectiously charming too.
Yeah.
Like all the characters
Like,
just have a very nice charisma to them.
yeah.
Hmm.
Himari is a great protagonist. Like,
Himari is
just
wonderful.
great.
Yeah. Oh, they got a Sami Seto to voice Yori. That's perfect
That's
for the anime adaptation.
yeah.
I recognize some of the other names, but Asami Seto is the one that stands out, and good choice for the voice.
We know she's great at voicing a gay.
That we do. Look, she does good work. She does very good work.
No, definitely. I never know voice actors, but I'm looking through her.
She does Aoi and Aoi and
Yeah,
Wings Up.
that's what I meant.
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely looking forward to the anime. Also
Yeah.
because I think the manga looked really good, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious how the anime will look.
Yeah. The studio is not one that's well. Oh, it's done by two studios jointly. Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
Well, we'll have to see. But
Yep.
I'm
Fingers crossed. It's not coming out for a while, so
yeah, exactly. Next year, so
yeah.
probably we'll have the next volume before we have the anime.
Yeah, I don't know when the next volume is coming out. I'll have to take a look, but I am very, 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 very eager for it.
I can tell you, I don't think you will like it.
Uh, we don't have a confirmed release date for that in English. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, looking at the time, rough time between translations, from original release date to English release date, about 8 months. So, Volume 7 came out in Japan in January, so probably September, give or take. Fingers crossed, knock on wood.
Hopefully.
Look, I need my fix. Just inject it into my veins, please. But yeah, no, this is an extremely good one. Honestly, the only ones of the sampler that I would say compare to it, in my opinion, are "I'm in Love with Villainess" and "Goodbye My Rose Garden." Those still stick. Still Sick is also very good. This is just most of the stuff in this collection. I feel has been very solid at the very least.
Yeah, I'd agree. We have a very good quality setup here.
Mm-hmm.
Again, even the two that weren't great weren't terrible. Like I didn't
Yeah.
hate reading them or anything.
Yeah, no. Like again, two weakest ones still pretty damn solid.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for this particular sampler. I'll just throw up the list here for all y'all to see it. Oh, let's just adjust this a tiny bit. There we go. Now you can see it. But yeah, that is all of them that we covered this time. Hopefully, we'll do another one of these next year. We will, if we do, we will probably carry over any of the ones from this year that we didn't finish. But other than that, yeah, this is the whole list. And so the strong recommendations I would say are Donuts Under a Crescent Moon, Goodbye My Rose Garden, I'm in Love with the Villainess, Still Sick, and Whisper Me a Love Song, with
Definitely.
lighter recommendations for Monologue Woven For You, Our Teachers Are Dating, Roadqueen, and Failed Princesses, I guess. Oh no,
Yeah.
After Hours.
Oh yeah, After Hours.
Yeah.
God damn it, After Hours.
I don't know with After Hours though. That final volume, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
Yeah. Failed Princesses
probably
is
recommend-
more consistent throughout.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd probably recommend Failed Princesses over After Hours, just because Failed Princess gets better towards the ending and not worse.
Yeah, and it also is more consistent in quality overall.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, that dip in quality in the third volume really hurts After Hours.
It really does.
Yeah.
And also, like, Failed Princesses isn't bad by any means. It just kind of struggles sometimes. Like,
is it good, you mean?
It also isn't great, yeah. But no, I think I would honestly recommend Failed Princesses over After Hours.
Mm-hmm.
Because I legit can only recommend 2/3 of After Hours.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate.
It really is.
But yeah.
Good manga up until then.
Yeah. Most of the stuff in this is stuff we can recommend to some degree. again, the only ones.
Honestly, all of this is worth checking out
Yeah,
if you're into Yuri manga. Like,
yeah,
at least giving it a go. If you don't like it, that's fine. But
yeah. Of course, again, the exception is I'm in Love with the Villainess isn't technically a manga. It has a manga
yeah,
adaptation, but it is a novel first and foremost.
yeah. And as I said, I'm honestly struggling a bit with the manga adaptation. Like, I think the pacing doesn't really translate. The way they're doing it, it doesn't really translate to the manga.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? I think I'm honestly really interested in how the anime turns out. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not honestly not super optimistic about it. I'm just interested in how it turns out.
Fingers crossed, knock on wood, and all that.
Yeah.
I do like that we have two different series getting anime adaptations on this list.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Better than I don't know if it was better than last time. Actually, I'll have to double check. But yeah, no,
I
um,
think so.
I don't
I don't
remember.
think we had anything. I don't remember either.
It's been a year. It's been a friggin' year.
It's been a year, yeah.
But
But
yeah.
no, I would agree. It's good to see stuff getting anime adaptations, especially seeing good stuff getting adaptations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're probably never going to get a second season of Bloom Into You, so just make other good things, please.
I mean, the thing with Bloom Into You is that there's still stuff being made of Bloom Into You, like the
Yeah, but
anthology and the Sayaka spinoff. So it's
yeah, but
possible that they'll
I
make more.
mean, didn't they very recently restage the stage production or something?
Yeah, so they might do another season. It might just be in the works and they
I
haven't announced it yet because it's not finished or anywhere near
thing
that.
is, at this point, I don't even know if I want that because it's been 5 years. It would probably not be the same team, and like Bloom Into You was such a well-made anime.
Well, they might be taking so long because they couldn't get the full team
It might
together.
be, yeah. Well, it, I mean, I will obviously be very happy if it happens, but I don't think it will.
Yeah, no, I get that. I am in the boat of please, 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 just please.
Make it, please. Yeah.
If Bloom Into You gets its second season, I will die happy.
Yeah, that would be really, really great. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it deserves it, and we've talked about Bloom Into You more than enough in other
We, we
contexts.
we spent a whole stream on it last year.
Yeah, and I could probably spend another one on it and
Yeah.
just say all the same things again.
But yeah. Thank you everyone for watching. In terms of future stuff, tomorrow should be D&D. Tuesday and Thursday will both likely be gaming streams. And next Saturday, I believe Mill will be playing a stream for something by the same team that did whatchamacallit. Shoot, what was that one? I'm blanking on it, but we'll be talking about another LGBTQ focused game that was put out rather recently. But and hopefully we'll be doing another one of these Yuri Manga samplers next year. We'll just need some time to decide the contents of that one. But thank you all for watching and have a nice evening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.